Welcome back to the Chattable Podcast, where enrich vocabulary and speak English with pride.
It is great to be back.
Have you ever, watched the evening news and felt like your brain was just literally breaking in half?
Oh, absolutely. All the time.
Right. Because you see everyday families struggling to afford basic groceries on one side of the screen, and then Wall Street is popping champagne on the other.
Yeah, it is entirely overwhelming.
It really is. It is enough to make you dizzy. So for this episode, we are diving into the exact language you need to articulate that specific bizarre tension.
And that dizzy feeling you mentioned, well, that is precisely why we need the right words.
Exactly.
Because language is at its absolute best when it paints a vivid, unforgettable picture of, high-stakes situations.
Which is so true.
Whether you are analyzing a bitter rivalry in professional sports or trying to understand massive, confusing shifts in the global economy, or even just dealing with a highly dramatic friend.
We all have one of those.
Right. You just need the proper tools. You need phrases that capture the physical stress and the harsh social judgments of those exact moments.
Which brings us to the core mission for this deep dive. Today, you are getting a masterclass in 5 highly descriptive English idioms.
And these are not just, random vocabulary words pulled from a textbook.
No, not at all. They actually form a continuous logical narrative sequence.
They really do.
Together, they explain the bizarre contrasts we see in the world, the incredibly tough moments we are forced to endure, and the massive egos we sometimes have to manage in our daily lives.
So to understand the tension we feel every day, we really have to start by looking at the big picture.
Right.
And we need to look at it through a very specific, almost literal lens. Our first key concept is the phrase split screen.
Split screen. Okay, let's unpack this because I know that comes from television.
Right, exactly. Literally speaking, a split screen is an older piece of television broadcasting technology.
Like the news channels.
Right. It is when a TV station physically divides your television screen in half, just right down the middle.
Uh-huh.
They do this to show 2 completely different video feeds at the exact same time.
So if I am visualizing this, I am trying to watch 2 clashing TV channels at once. And that sounds exhausting. How does visualizing this split screen help you understand complex news stories without feeling overwhelmed?
Well, what's fascinating here is how seamlessly that hardware technology became a powerful psychological metaphor.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. In daily conversation, a split-screen reality describes a bizarre situation where 2 completely opposite, contrasting realities are happening simultaneously.
So it captures that modern feeling of cognitive dissonance.
Exactly. You are looking at the world, and what you see simply does not match up. It feels completely divided.
And the economy really provides the perfect illustration of this, doesn't it?
It does. Consider the exact scenario you mentioned earlier. You turn on the evening news and you are presented with a really jarring contradiction. On one side of this metaphorical screen, you see everyday families. They are walking down the aisles of the grocery store, looking at the rising price of eggs, the price of milk, and they are struggling.
Yeah, they're feeling the painful daily squeeze of inflation.
But on the exact same broadcast, on the other side of that screen, you see the stock market.
Right, the bells are ringing.
Yes, the confetti is falling, and Wall Street traders are celebrating historic, record-breaking highs.
So you have deep financial pain and euphoric financial celebration occurring in the exact same nation at the exact same time.
Precisely. And by calling it a split-screen reality, you acknowledge that both of these experiences are entirely true.
Right. One does not cancel out the other.
Exactly. They exist side by side, creating a profound sense of national tension.
And just having a label for that tension actually helps manage the overwhelm, I think.
It really does, because when you read the news, you often feel a deep sense of confusion. You wonder how the world can be so terrible and so wonderful in the same breath.
Yeah. But framing it as a split-screen moment gives your brain control over the chaos.
Right. It instantly communicates to everyone around you that you understand the complex, conflicting forces at play. You are analyzing them rather than just being confused by them.
That is a great perspective.
Yeah.
But when you are living in that split-screen reality, there are usually clear winners and clear losers.
Unfortunately, yes.
What happens to the person or the team stuck on the bad side of the screen? They take the hits, right?
They do. They absorb the damage. And the phrase for this is being on the receiving end.
The receiving end. So that means being the designated target.
Exactly. You are not delivering the action is happening to you, and you are powerless to stop it.
Okay. Can you give me an example of that?
Think about the world of professional sports. Imagine a sports team facing off against their bitter division rivals.
Oh, that is always intense.
Right. And let's say they have already played each other 3 times this season, and our team has lost all 3 games. Now, it is the 4th game. The buzzer sounds. They have lost again.
That is brutal.
The players walk off the field completely devastated. They find themselves on the receiving end of a brutal beating by that exact same opponent for the 4th consecutive time.
I see. But I have to ask about the rules for using this. If I say, Chloe gave Liam a really nice birthday present, can I say Liam was on the receiving end of that gift?
Oh, definitely not.
No. Why not? It means he received it.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the phrase inherently carries a heavy, aggressive weight. It implies a severe imbalance of power.
Oh, I get it. So using it for a gift sounds weird.
It completely ruins the sentiment. If you use it for a birthday present, you are turning a joyful, generous moment into a hostile transaction.
Right. So it is strictly reserved for those overwhelming negative situations.
Exactly. You are on the receiving end of an insult, a bad joke, or a devastating loss. Never a nice gift.
That makes perfect sense. Now, when you are trapped in that powerless position, absorbing all that negativity, your body inevitably reacts, right?
It does. You do not just feel the stress emotionally, you wear it physically.
Yeah, and that brings us to our third phrase. You find yourself doing everything through gritted teeth.
Gritted teeth, yes.
You are clenching your jaw, pressing your top and bottom teeth tightly together.
Because you are experiencing deep frustration, intense anger, or profound mental pain.
Wait, I might be guilty of using this wrong all the time then.
Really? How so?
Well, if I am just mildly annoyed that my coffee is cold, am I gritting my teeth? Or does this phrase require true, intense agony?
Oh, you are definitely not gritting your teeth over mildly cold coffee.
Good to know.
The phrase is built for true agony. You cannot use it when you are just slightly inconvenienced or, mildly annoyed.
So what does it actually require?
It requires a situation where you are actively suppressing a major emotional reaction. Think about the biology here. Gritting your teeth is an ancient, involuntary physiological response to severe stress or pain.
Wow, okay. That is intense.
You do it when your endurance is being tested to its absolute limit. So when we use this phrase in conversation, we are borrowing the language of physical pain to describe severe emotional or psychological stress.
Let's look at a high-stakes sports example to really nail down that level of agony.
Great idea.
Picture a massive basketball arena. The New York Knicks are playing, and they have built an incredible, commanding 15-point lead by the 3rd quarter.
The fans must be absolutely thrilled.
Oh, they are. But then disaster strikes, the defense collapses, the offense stops scoring entirely.
Oh, no.
Thousands of passionate Knicks fans are forced to watch as their team completely blows that massive lead.
That is painful.
With just 2 minutes left on the clock, the rival team takes the lead. The fans aren't just sad. They are physically clenching their jaws in pure, helpless frustration.
Right. They are enduring the end of the game through gritted teeth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that physical tension translates directly to the professional world too, doesn't it?
It happens constantly at work, especially when social rules force us to hide our true negative emotions in order to maintain peace.
Office politics is a goldmine for this.
Oh, absolutely.
Imagine a man named Oliver. Oliver has been working incredibly hard for a major promotion, but the promotion goes to his rival coworker instead.
That is a tough pill to swallow.
Now, professional etiquette requires Oliver to walk over to his rival's desk, shake their hand, and say congratulations.
Which he really doesn't want to do.
Not at all. Oliver forces a fake, polite smile. But he delivers that congratulation through gritted teeth.
His mouth is smiling, but his jaw is locked tight with hidden anger and disappointment.
Exactly. It perfectly describes that painful gap between what we feel and how we are forced to behave.
And, when someone is failing that, visibly finding themselves on the receiving end of a terrible situation and enduring it through gritted teeth, the outside world inevitably reacts.
Right. Spectators, media, and colleagues start to judge.
And that external judgment brings us to our 4th phrase, to write off.
To write off. This is a fascinating phrase because it originates entirely from the rigid mathematical world of counting books.
Yes. Long before we used it to describe human beings.
Right. An accountant would look at a business ledger. If a customer owed the business money, but the accountant realized that customer was bankrupt and could never pay the money back,
What would they do?
the accountant would literally draw a red line through the customer's name. They declared it a total financial loss. They wrote it off.
The physical act of crossing out the name represents complete finality. There is no hope left.
Exactly.
When we take that accounting term and apply it to everyday English, the meaning remains just as severe. To write a person off or to write a team off means you completely dismiss them.
You decide they're a total failure.
Right. You firmly believe they have absolutely zero chance of succeeding in the future. You are actively erasing their potential.
Let's take it back to the basketball court to see how severe this judgment really is. Imagine the sports analyst sitting at the broadcasting desk during Game 4 of a playoff series between the New York Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs.
The stakes are very high.
Yes. And the Knicks are having a terrible game. They are down by 20 points, and there are only 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
That is a massive deficit.
It really is. The analysts look at the score, they look at the clock, and they declare the game is over. They tell the television audience that the Knicks have lost.
The sports analysts wrote off the New York Knicks.
Yes. They calculated the odds, decided a comeback was mathematically impossible, and dismissed the team entirely.
This severity means you must carefully calibrate when to use the phrase.
Right, because it implies a complete and total dismissal of someone's future.
Exactly. So it sounds ridiculous if applied to small, temporary mistakes.
For example, if you are in a meeting and your colleague forgets to bring a pen, you do not write them off.
Oh, definitely not. That is a massive overreaction.
Right. You don't declare their entire career a failure over a forgotten pen. You only write someone off when you are completely dismissing their ultimate ability to perform.
Writing someone off is the ultimate external judgment. The world looks at you and decides you are finished.
But, the drama in our lives does not always come from a terrible failure or harsh external judgment.
No, it doesn't. Sometimes the drama comes from our own inflated sense of self-importance.
Sometimes we have to judge ourselves.
Yes, we do. And that brings us to our final phrase, get over oneself.
Get over oneself. This phrase is a massive shift in tone.
It really is. It is a casual, highly direct reality check.
To understand how this works, think about the concept of main character syndrome. We all walk around feeling like we are the star of our own movie, and everyone else is just a background extra.
Right. Our own problems, no matter how small, feel massive to us. It is like there is a giant wall blocking our path, but the wall is just our own massive ego.
Exactly. So to get over yourself means you have to step out of that spotlight. You have to look past your own minor inconveniences and realize, perhaps for the first time, that you are not the center of the universe.
This raises an important question about perspective. We just discussed writing someone off, which is a harsh external judgment applied to a major failure.
Right, but getting over oneself is different.
Yes, getting over oneself is an internal correction applied to unnecessary drama. It asks a person to align their emotional reaction with the actual real-world stakes of the situation.
Let's look at a situation where someone desperately needs that perspective.
Let's hear it.
Imagine a man named Nathan. Nathan has just arrived at the tennis courts to play a highly anticipated match with his friends.
Sounds fun.
He opens his bag and pulls out a brand new pair of tennis shoes. But instead of warming up for the game, Nathan realizes the blue stripe on his new shoes is slightly lighter than the blue stripe he saw on the website. Yeah. He proceeds to stand by the court and complain for 20 straight minutes about this microscopic color difference. He is completely ruining the mood and delaying the game.
He is entirely consumed by his own minor inconvenience, completely ignoring the time and feelings of his friends waiting patiently on the court.
Exactly. Finally, Nathan takes a breath, looks at his friends, and tells himself to get over himself.
Good for him.
He realizes his complaints are absurd. He drops the subject entirely, and he focuses on playing the actual match.
It deflates a swollen ego. It is a necessary tool for maintaining healthy relationships.
It really is.
When a friend is spiraling into dramatic complaints about something incredibly trivial, telling them to get over themselves breaks the tension and brings them back to reality.
But, you really have to read the room carefully with this one.
Oh, absolutely.
Just imagine the sheer horror, the absolute career-ending nightmare of accidentally telling a boss or a client to get over themselves when they point out a minor mistake in a report.
You'd be fired instantly.
Instantly. It is a highly informal, Very blunt phrase. It is a reality check designed for close friends, for siblings, or for yourself in the mirror.
It is certainly not for the corporate boardroom. The language we choose dictates the entire social dynamic.
It really does. So let's take a step back and look at the linguistic journey we just took.
We covered a lot of ground.
We did. We started by observing the big picture, acknowledging that we often live in a bizarre, contradictory split-screen reality.
Right. And we learned that in this divided world, someone usually ends up taking the hits, finding themselves on the painful receiving end of a bad situation.
From there, we explored the physical toll of that stress, watching people endure their struggles through tightly gritted teeth.
Then we saw how harshly the outside world judges those failures, often choosing to completely write off a person's future potential.
And finally, we learned the importance of an internal reality check. We discovered how essential it is to just get over oneself when our egos create unnecessary drama over trivial things.
Such an important lesson.
It really is. I highly encourage you, the listener, to keep your ears open this week. Actively listen for these 5 phrases in your daily life.
Turn on a global news broadcast and wait for a journalist to describe a split-screen political moment.
Yeah, or listen to the sports commentary during a blowout game. And notice when the announcers say a team is on the receiving end of a beating.
Exactly. Pay attention to the office chatter by the coffee machine and see if anyone complains about enduring a meeting through gritted teeth.
You will be amazed at how often these phrases are used, and how instantly they add vivid color and deep emotional resonance to a regular conversation.
Absolutely.
Before we go, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder on your own. Consider how frequently we borrow vocabulary from highly rigid, sterile professions to describe our most chaotic, messy human emotions.
It is a great point. We took split screen from the technical hardware of television broadcasting to describe deep psychological dissonance.
And we took write-off from the mathematical, clinical world of corporate accounting to describe the heartbreaking dismissal of human potential.
It really makes you wonder.
It does. What other clinical, industrial, or scientific terms have we secretly turned into emotional weapons in our daily lives? Keep listening, keep questioning, and keep exploring the language around you. Thank you for joining us, and we will catch you on the next Deep Dive.